Hi everyone, Martina here from the Travian Legends team, and welcome to Ask Travian, where we answer the most asked questions from the community. As we mentioned in the previous episode, we have a special guest today, our game designer, Jake. We have received a lot of questions about design and balancing over the years. Why is this tribe behaving like this? What about this unit? That's why we have decided to call our expert. Jake is going to dig deeper into the challenges behind balancing and designing such a complicated game like Travian Legends. But first of all, for those of you who are new to this field, what is game design? To make a long story short, game design is the art of defining how a game works. A game designer creates goals, rules, and challenges to shape a game. It is a key role with different tasks and responsibilities that combines the needs both of the product owner and the players. But now, let's hear what Jake has to say.
So what makes good or bad game design and balancing? So good balancing basically is about creating choices for players. So if they have the decision, do I go left or do I do right? It needs to be a meaningful decision and both actions need to be available. If I go right and I always lose this way, that's bad balancing. So there need to be a decision which is meaningful. For Travians that means if you play Teuton or you play a Gaul, it is both available choice. You don't lose immediately just because of that choice. You might lose if you play a Teuton and want to defend, but that's what meaningful decisions are about as well. You can do wrong decisions, but they are still meaningful. They are not automatically bad. So that is what good balancing is about. When you register a new player for Travian Legends, the first minutes are basically the pacing of the game. So how long does it take until you get to your next adventure? How much time do you need to spend to upgrade your resource fields or to build some buildings? This is all balancing values. And for example, if all the buildings would be 10 seconds build time, the pacing of the game would be way faster. And that is also balancing, and this balancing affects the speed and the pace of the game. On the other side, we also have the speed servers where we say like, your production is 3 times as fast as usual and the troops move 2 times as fast as usual. This also are balancing decisions and formula decisions, how to do them in a good way. So a few years ago we had Rise of Alliances, where we had a feature called Boosted Start, where players who registered had immediately level 10 resource fields and 6 settlers to settle 2 more villages. Of course that is a way faster start than a speed server or a regular server. And this also had quite some changes to the game, which are purely balancing. So there are 5 tribes and there are 3 tribes. In terms of balancing, what is the challenge there? Basically, when we created the Huns and the Egyptians, we just needed to keep in mind the annual special. So we didn't need to think about the World Wonder, for example. And we need to make sure that they work in the 5 tribe setting, but without changing it in a way that the 3 tribe setting doesn't work anymore. So there was quite a challenge to be done. And we needed to create new spaces basically. So in a 3 tribe setting, there is no tribe like the Huns, because they are missing. And there is no other tribe which replaces them. So they are creating a new space instead of taking something away from the other tribes. And this basically is the challenge, to keep the balancing in a way that 3 tribes and 5 tribes both work without having any exceptions.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Ask Travian. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again, Jake, for sharing your expertise. I'm sure we all learned something today. The next episode will be the last one for this year, and it is going to be all about our plans for 2019. So guys, take the dust off your crystal ball and leave us your prediction in the comment below. Thank you for watching, and make sure you stay tuned to our Facebook page, blog and forum for all your Travian news. As always, happy raiding everyone!